Mansa.
Hello and welcome to Vimansa Initiative. Vimansa Initiative is an independent think tank in Sri Lanka, which provides a platform for critical analysis, intellectual dialogue, and policy advocacy on economic, political, and social issues. We are pleased to present you another episode of this interview series under the theme Rising China. Through this interview series, Vimansa brings about the views of intellectuals and experts on various dimensions of the miraculous development experience of China by drawing parallels for Sri Lanka. This interview is with Mr. Chanuka Wattegama to talk about digital economy of China. He's a policy researcher in the field of economics and technology. He is Dr. Sirimala Beratna, professor in economics from the University of Colombo, to conduct the discussion with Mr. Chanuka Wattegama.
Zero. Thank you. This is the series of interviews that we have been carrying out under the theme Rising China and organized by the Vimansa Initiative. The purpose of this series is to learn from Chinese experience, whether we have missed anything and how much we can gain from the Chinese experience for the future of Sri Lanka, for the development of Sri Lanka. Today, the topic is the digital economy of China. When we say digital economy, we remember computers, connectivity, and digital literacy, infrastructure, and all these things. But actually, Sri Lanka has been poorly ranked among many other countries. If you go through the international data reports on the development of digital economy. But China is different. China is a whole different story. Although Sri Lanka and China, both countries, initiated their development process in the late 1970s, China is far beyond Sri Lankan experience in terms of the development of digital economy. I have seen that computer is still a typewriter for many officers, organizations, or if not, computer has been used as a calculator. But it's a whole different story when we talk about digital economy, which actually is an important input to development process, and development process itself is an important input to digital economy. It's a two-way connectivity. In order to talk about this important subject today, we have invited Chanuka. Chanuka, I want to ask you first, what is this digital economy? For many people, I don't think it is understood that much, the term digital economy and how big it is in China and how big it is in Sri Lanka. Over to you.
Srimal, it's an interesting question. Like, not many people are clear about digital economy, and I don't think there is a universal definition for digital economy. But when we are talking loosely, a digital economy includes everything we do digitally. That is not just computers and smartphones, like even the data centers, whatever the digital industry, and the main components that we can include in digital economy can be the hardware development, the software development, and the telecommunication services, also the data services, and other platforms like e-commerce platforms. This is the general definition of digital economy that we are using as the working definition. And its size is like, if you take China, it's really big. China has the world's second largest digital economy, just after US, and the size is US dollars 5 trillion. 5 trillion. And the largest digital economy in the world is, not surprisingly, the US, but China is catching up.
That is interesting. Now, China, I know that China initiated this whole development process after 1978. So it is little more than 40 years. And Sri Lanka actually 1 year, even 1 year before that. And China was poorer than Sri Lanka at that time. So during this 40-year period, what a miraculous achievement that China has made in this particular field, digital economy. Can you elaborate a little bit about how China is making, developing the digital economy and making use of that digital economy for its other economic activities and economic development?
I think China has correctly identified the potential because Chinese market is large. China is with a population of 1.5 billion and with total internet users 600 million. So this is a huge market, and the China has recognized the potential of this market. And what they do is, in a very protectionist manner, put their own products for this huge market. Like say, for example, the products in e-commerce, the products in fintech, or what we call the financial technology, the social networking products. So the usage is very high. And the Chinese population is also, what we have seen is very ready to adopt these digital technologies than many other countries. So we see a perfect match from the government side and from the private sector and from the society for the growth of the digital economy in China.
Right. So I'm still trying to get things come across for a layman to understand what is this digital economy actually. Now, for example, if I'm a consumer, or if I'm a university student, or if I'm an employee of a private company or a public sector company, how do I make use of this digital economy to facilitate my activities?
Well, it may even change your lifestyle. Like say, for example, how Chinese use the digital economy tools. One is e-commerce, right? And a large percentage of Chinese consumers now don't go to retail shops. They order online. And China manages its logistic in such an efficient manner. Sometimes, the delivery happens within few hours. So it has gone to that level. So then the financial technology, the trading and investment happen in these platforms. There are people in China who do this investment in a very regular basis. I mean, the first thing they do in the morning is to check the sites and what are the interest rates they offer, and do their trading. So it has actually changed the lifestyle of a population, the digital economy. And the other side is China selling its own product to the outside world. I think the best example is TikTok. Now the mother company that owns TikTok is one of the largest firms in the world. So they sell again their products to the world, like the American information service providers do.
Okay. Now, we have also seen to some extent, the e-commerce services or online delivery services progress during this COVID pandemic period, because the lockdown didn't allow consumers and suppliers to meet, so that there was no option. So online delivery matters. It happens in this country also, but I guess that it is largely limited to urban areas, particularly in Colombo, and not available throughout the country. And e-commerce, you mentioned that e-commerce is, to my understanding, it is not no more than a subject taught in the commerce and management streams, and we have very limited practice of e-commerce and e-governance. That is also very ad hoc and piecemeal manner. It is happening here and there. And in our offices, I have seen now when they computerize, when they digitalize the systems, and in fact, they have doubled the amount of work that they carry out, and they still maintain that all files and the signatures, and they go through the manually to each and every table to get the signatures. So the manual file is also maintained, and at the same time they enter data to the computer, and so that there is another group of staff members to maintain that computer system. So actually it has doubled the work. And we don't have very developed international payment gates in this country. Unlike in many other countries, I know a couple of businessmen who provide their products to the international market, but they don't have a payment system here to get their dollars that they earn. So they open their accounts. I'm talking about accounts like PayPal account. They open their accounts in Australia, in Singapore to get their money, and the money doesn't even come to this country. Now, this is the kind of setup that we are talking about when you say about e-governance, e-commerce, and how consumers and students and all these economic agents, when they make use of digital economy in China. So does it mean that far behind the Chinese development in terms of digitalization?
Yes, I think what you have explained is an early stage of digitalization at international level. China, of course, has reached a far more developed level where the main device, you have talked about lot about computers, but in the Chinese environment, the device that they use most is not the personal computer, but the smartphone. Even for the governance applications that you have spoken about, commerce applications, they use tabs and phones. So they are at very level of development, and especially with the Chinese characters, not with English characters. It's a very robust system, a very developed system than what we have in Sri Lanka.
Right. Now, I will ask you a little different related question again. Now we have been talking about digital currency, cryptocurrency particularly. So what is the use of cryptocurrency in China and its connectivity? What is it actually, cryptocurrency, and what is its connectivity to the topic that we are talking about?
This is very interesting question. Like as far as China is concerned, I mean, there are two things that we can tell. Like in one way, China is the second largest crypto mining country. China is the second largest crypto mining country with a very high percentage of crypto mining. But recently, Chinese government banned crypto mining. I mean, they have several times they have taken action, but this time very strictly they have banned crypto mining. And but China does is to go away from the cryptocurrencies, and for that they have even introduced a new digital yuan. New digital, the first country to introduce the digital version of their own currency. So China, the administration doesn't really encourage the cryptocurrencies, but on the other hand, the people, you can't stop people doing anything. They used to do crypto mining at massive scale.
So does it mean that this, when people are using, when public use to cryptocurrency, digital currency system, the central bank and the banking system lose their control over the financial system? Does it happen?
Exactly, the establishment loses the control, and that explains very well why the Chinese administration is against the use of cryptocurrencies, because they will lose the control of the currency.
So can't they keep that control by changing the regulations?
No, cryptocurrencies cannot be regulated centrally by the national authorities. But China has come up with a very good alternative, introducing their own digital yuan. So whatever the cryptocurrencies do, that is supplemented by the digital yuan. You don't need cryptocurrencies if you have a digital version of the national currency. So China has taken a very smart and very intelligent move to introduce its own digital currency.
Right, that explains it well. And China has actually stepped forward compared to many other countries, even to come up with an alternative to cryptocurrency. So that is the digital yuan. Now, we will move on to the development aspect, and we don't have that much time. Can you say that how this is related to their economic development, and what can we learn out of this Chinese experience?
Well, China, I can give you one good example. China is now competing with US to develop autonomous electronic vehicles, driverless vehicles. So it has gone to that level. Their digital technology has developed to that level, and it uses the highest level of digital technology in the world. And some of the Chinese companies have technologies that's not available in US, available in Japan or any other country. So definitely, in terms of digital technologies, this is one country that Sri Lanka can definitely have many to learn from. So I guess we will take the right lessons from the Chinese economy.
Now, the main question is, although we started this development policy reform process almost at the same platform in the late 1970s, now, what is our capacity to adopt a fast development of the digital economy in this country? What are the prerequisites that we should have in place, and what role that the government can play?
The prerequisite is a very conducive environment created by the government. Like Chinese government does it for their private sector, and opening up the market. Like Sri Lanka is small, it's a small country, not we don't have a large market like China. So if we get into our own digital economy, we have to sell our product to the international market. So opening up the market is like one critical prerequisite. And also we should let the others come in and open their do their investments in Sri Lanka for more innovative products.
Now, when you say that opening the economy and also Sri Lanka is a small country. When we take these two things, I think even China is too small for China as a market. So that's why China is conquering the global market. So we don't have anything to say about when we talk about Sri Lanka, when we compared it with China. But there's another important point that I want to mention here. There are countries even in our neighborhood, in the Asian region, which are actually smaller than Sri Lanka, but those countries which have a huge global market. So their market is not the home market, global market. So you mean Sri Lanka should also have a global market? Does it?
Definitely, not only we should sell our products in the global market, but also open our supply chains for the others to come in at the right point. Like say, for example, the Sri Lankan software market needs lots of professionals that we cannot we cannot create in this country. So we must let the software professionals coming from other countries and work in our own software development field.
I think there are software developers in this country too, but they quietly develop those software and also they sell it in the global market, although we don't make use of them for our own economic development. I think that's what is happening. And in addition to that, government also has a main role to play. We need to have our digital literacy in place and infrastructure in place and the regulations in place and the global market by opening our small market to the global economy. So these are some of the prerequisites that Sri Lanka requires. We thank you, Chanuka, for all your explanation, which has given us a very good insight into this digital economy and also shedding light on how China has developed it and what we can learn from China. Thank you, Chanuka.
Thank you, Sriman. Thank you very much.